Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at some US versus UK book covers for the second half of 2022. So this is a little series that I've been doing for a little while now. I'll link the other videos in the description box. So comparing new releases and their covers between the US and the UK, which ones I would buy if I was choosing between them. So take on the US UK book covers, but only looking at new releases. I'm not trying to put shade on any of the creative teams at these publishing houses or say that any department is better than the other or that an artist is better than another. These are just absolutely due to personal taste and the tastes on covers that I personally prefer. The designers for these covers have absolutely my full respect. I do have an affiliate link for Blackwell's, which I also leave in the description if you are interested in any UK covers, as they do ship internationally for free. That won't change the price at all for you, but it does support me and support my channel if you're interested in any of the UK book covers, and it's a lovely independent bookshop, so I'd recommend shopping there even if you don't use my link. If you're after any descriptions of these books, what exactly they're about, then I will link the Goodreads descriptions for them all down below, because I'm not really going to be talking about the actual contents of the book, just more about the actual aesthetics of the covers. So let's just dive in. Back in July, Upgrade by Blake Crouch came out. I have not actually read any Blake Crouch yet, but a lot of people talk about Recursion and Dark Matter by him, and I've heard rave reviews on them. But Upgrade is his new release. I think for this one, the US is the winner. The UK one, I really do not like. I don't like it. It just looks quite cheap, I would say. I mean, I've not seen it in person, but it doesn't really do very much for me. It looks very formulaic. I don't know if it's like appealing to like the airport market, you know, people that buy books before going on a plane, or like just trying to get it out to the masses. I don't know, but or like the thriller market. It doesn't appeal. It does not appeal with this man running around this helix. Like, no. Whereas, I mean, blue is one of my favourite colours, so the US does have that as like a selling factor, that it is blue. I don't think it's like an amazing cover. Like, I think if the UK had done a better job, then it could have been beat, but actually out of the two, the US is definitely the winner. I mean, it doesn't really do anything like groundbreaking with it, but I would say the US is the winner, hands down, for this one. One that has come out already in the US, but the UK edition doesn't come out until later on in the year, on the 18th of October. But for the US it came out on the 12th of July. I am trying to do these in date order, and that is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. Two, I guess, quite different covers. I can see definitely the vibe that it's a horror. The only T. Kingfisher that I've read is Nettle and Bone, which is one of her fantasy releases, but I know she writes across a variety of genres, and this is her latest horror release. So I do find the US cover quite disturbing, with that amalgamation of different animals all like put together. I find it does look really, really creepy. I don't know like how much that's mirroring the book. It's probably not a book I would naturally gravitate towards reading, because I'm not a massive horror person, whereas the UK one is, I would say, a hand coming out of the dirt. Also, although it looks like it's hand coming out of loads of mushrooms, with some mushrooms actually like coming out of the hand. That's a bit, the more you look at it, the more disgusting it gets. So I don't know which one is more relevant to the book and which matches the actual content of the book better. I'm trying to figure out which one disturbs me the least, whether it's the animal that's all conjoined together, or if it's the hand with mushrooms coming out of it. I think the hand with mushrooms disturbs me the least, so maybe I'll go with the UK cover, just because it's a bit less disturbing than the US one. It's not something that I really want to be looking at that consistently. On the 18th of August, The Book Eaters by Sunyi Dean is released, and oh, this one's a tough one. This one I think is quite tough, because I like both. I do like both of these covers. I do think both of these covers are quite pretty. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's the US again. Maybe it is the US again. because I really like the like cut out people with the words on them on the US cover. I think I prefer the typography of the UK cover. Like, I like the way the Book Eaters is written on the UK cover in that typography, with the like, I don't know, the aesthetics of the pages around it. But I do really like the house and the little people made out of cutouts of paper with the words on them. Like, I do really like that on the US cover. Okay, we're going to give it to the US, but I don't think it's an easy win. I think that's quite a even playing field there. Okay, another one where I feel as though it's quite tight is for Babel by R.F. Kuang, which comes out on the 23rd of August. Although actually I do think the UK one comes out on the 1st of September. So a little bit later. The covers, they definitely follow the same aesthetic. Like, the aesthetic of them is very, very similar. That it is the Oxford skyline with a very black and white style cover. The US one has a more gold touch to it, as the author and the title is in gold, whereas the UK one is pretty much just black and white. Like, that is what it is. And I do find it interesting that in the US one, they've got that building as the central point of the cover. Like, that's where your eye is drawn to, which is interesting because I don't think there is a building like that in Oxford. As an Oxfordshire local, I was just like I was just double checking myself. Like, I don't think there is a building like that in Oxford. I think it's most similar to the Bodleian, but the Bodleian is not that tall. The Bodleian is quite squat. I'll put a picture up of it. But like, that's, I think, the inspiration for it. But I don't actually think that the building that they've got on the cover of Babel actually exists, whereas that building is not on the UK cover, which I do think is quite interesting when you think about it, that the UK cover didn't go for a building that obviously didn't exist in Oxford. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I am from there, so I would think I'm right. So I do think both of them are very, very pretty, and again, I do think it's very close. It's a very close run between the two of them. Because I do think they're both very pretty. Because I'm going to go with accuracy, I'm going to go with the UK cover, because the building on the US one doesn't exist. So we'll go with that to declare my winner as the UK winner. One where it is hands down UK, no competition, is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which is coming out on the 30th of August. There is zero competition here. I think I did talk about this in my new releases for this quarter, that there is absolutely no competition over who is the winner here. The UK wins hands down. Like, the US cover looks like an ad for a spin class. It really does. It looks like it's a spin class advert. Like, if you removed the author and the title and it was just that cover, I would think it was for an advert for going to the gym. That it wouldn't make me think of a book that I'd be like looking at that going, okay, you're advertising a spin cast to me. Whereas the UK cover is very pretty. I like the colours. I really like the colours on it. I think it matches with the aesthetic of the other two books in this Decades series that Taylor Jenkins Reid is doing. I like it. I really, really like the UK cover. The US one is an absolute failure. Sorry to the designer, but the UK one is the winner. Okay, so next we have A Taste of Gold and Iron by Alexander Roland, which comes out on the 1st of September. And this has quite different covers. I'm not sure if this is YA or adult. I know it's like a bodyguard fantasy romance. I personally prefer the UK cover. I like the aesthetics of it I like the typography, I like the colours chosen, I like the more picture style cover. I think it's really very, very pretty. I do think the US one is more realistic. It accurately portrays what the book is about, that it is a male romance, a fantasy one, that I do think it is more like apparent what you're getting into with the US cover, that it is very clear what it is, whereas the UK one, it doesn't really tell you that, just looking at the cover. If you prefer it to be more explicit what you're getting into, then the US cover definitely does that, but I do think the UK one is prettier. I really like the colours on it. I mean, it's got blues, it's got purples, it's got reds and burgundy type colours. It's perfect, just the colours that I like. Okay, next up on the 6th of September, we have Fairy Tale by Stephen King. So, I mean, they've definitely gone for a blue aesthetic on them both. And I mean, do they know that blue's my favourite colour? Like, way to make something a tricky competition, because I do love the colour blue. I think for this one, I'm preferring the US cover. I do think it looks a bit more dark, a bit more mysterious. I'm liking how my eye is getting drawn into the centre. It looks a little bit like an eye, but I think it's like a spiral staircase going down. That is what my eye is drawn to, and then I see like the scenario with the, I'd say, wolf and the human, and the darkness of the blue with the golden typography. I quite like that. Whereas the UK one, it doesn't give me like fairy tale type vibes. Maybe, I mean, it is in a forest, it is pretty blues, but it doesn't give me like fairy tale type forest. I don't know. So for me, I would say the US one wins. I feel like we're being quite balanced here. I feel like I've been quite balanced between the US and the UK. Sometimes it's like completely one way or the other, but I feel as though it's going between the two right now. Right, moving along into November. On the 8th of November, The Lost Metal is coming out by Brandon Sanderson. Again, this one has quite different covers. I personally am going to get the UK one. I'm actually trying to decide what to do about it, because I've got literally the whole rest of the series in paperback. So does this mean that I should get this book from the library before and then buy it when it's actually released in paperback? Decisions. But for me, I personally prefer the UK covers for all Brandon Sanderson's books. That I really like the aesthetic with the whites and the blues and the statement pieces. Like, I really like that, and I like the way they all look all together. And I do like with these Mistborn books that they all have this blue aesthetic running through them. I do think like the US covers, again, are probably more realistic to what the books are about, that it does show the two main characters on the front cover, that it does show that, I guess, the slightly more Western or that sort of setting with the guns and like the way that they look, I think is probably is more realistic maybe to what you're getting yourself into when you read the book, that maybe it's selling it better in some ways because it is more realistic to what you're actually going to get. But in terms of the way it actually looks, I like the way the UK one looks. So my winner would be the UK one again. One that is very similar between the US and the UK, that it's more just the slight aesthetic changes, is Tread of Angels by Rebecca Roanholtz. I had no idea that she had another book coming out, but apparently she does. And this is outside of any of her other series. I think this is something completely different. But the US and the UK cover are very, very similar. There is definitely the same aesthetics between the two, except the UK one has a sort of bluish tone background, whereas the US one is black. And then things are just positioned slightly differently. Like, it's really as though they took the exact same theme, the exact same bones, and they've just gone and like moved things around a bit. So the feather is moved from being on the US cover, the feather is between of angels, whereas on the UK cover, the feather is below angels. The actual covers are pretty much the same. It's just the slight positioning things, and that the loop-de-loops are slightly different between the two covers. Like, it's just ever so slightly different, just ever so slightly. Like the way that they've done them in terms of the US one being slightly all higgledy-piggledy all over the cover, whereas on the UK one that they are more positioned strategically around the edges of the book. It's quite hard to say which one's better. I think I would go for the UK one because I like blue. So potentially for me, I would go with the UK. It's very, very close because they're so similar. So similar. It's like they could have just gone for the exact same cover, but they, for whatever reason, decided to make it ever so slightly different. Like, sometimes you get covers that are completely different. Sometimes you get covers that are just so marginally different, like so marginal. Now onto the official number 10, which is Heart of the Sun Warrior by Susan Tan, the second book, or in the duology, with the first book being Daughter of the Moon Goddess, which came out earlier this year. This one comes out on the 15th of November. And once again, it's a stunning cover between the two. Like, both of them. I think I said this with the first book as well, that both of them have a stunning cover. I don't know how she's managed it, because she's managed to get a stunning cover on both the UK and the US market. Lucky, very, very lucky. I mean, for me personally, I still have yet to read Daughter of the Moon Goddess, but I own it in the UK cover, so I would be buying Heart of the Sun Warrior in the UK cover so my editions match. I don't think there is a better one again. I think this one is like it's a tie yet again, because they're both absolutely stunning. Like I feel as though you put, even if you're imagining the duology as a whole, you put both of the UK covers together and you put both of the US covers together, and it's a very, very pretty pairing in both senses. So I do like as well that between the US and the UK they've managed to stick with the same colour scheme, that they do have that similarity between them. It's a tie, but for me I will go for the UK purely because I live here. So there we go, there are 10 books that are coming out in the latter half of 2022 that have differing covers between the US and the UK, and my personal opinions on which ones I would buy and which ones I personally prefer. Let me know if you agree with me on these, or if you think I'm completely wrong and I've gone and picked the one that you really, really dislike. If there are any other books that you know that are coming out that have differing covers, then please let me know, and I can always put them in the description box. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!